Hello! Welcome to Drunk Doctor Who.
Guten Tag. Welcome back.
Guten Tag, yeah.
After our... What season are we on?
The season doesn't matter. We're on episode 58.
Episode 58. Thank you for rejoining us after our week and a half hiatus.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
We've been through a period. I've gotten real shaggy. You'd think I would have shaved and got a haircut by now. I haven't left my house. Yeah. Just crazy times.
What are you drinking?
Red's Apple Ale.
Mm-hmm. And I'm drinking
Or apple.
Captain Morgan Long Island Iced Tea.
Long Island Iced Tea.
Yeah, it's only about like 30 proof, but it's a Long Island Iced Tea, so there's a lot of alcohols.
Yeah.
It's good. It's delicious. It's a lighter drink for when you don't want to get too wasted, so you can still do the podcast.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm hitting it pretty late with this is my fifth one, Reds.
Yeah, that's a little more than a wine cooler.
5%.
Yeah,
10 proof.
10 proof.
Yeah.
Alright,
A third of that.
so anyway, this is our 50th podcast,
Covering the
episode number 58, covering the 58th serial,
cereal.
Colony in Space. Hey, it was 6 episodes from April the 10th, 1971 to May the 15th, 1971. Advantage of Joe Grant and the Brigadier. Oh, no Sergeant Benton.
No, but
Not this time.
not this time.
So, Joe Grant and the Brigadier was barely in it, like barely in it.
2 scenes.
Yeah, 2 scenes, the beginning and the end. They filmed his and he went on a holiday for a month, I guess. Soon. Here is the Colony in Space. Essentially, you notice that's the Master. The Master didn't show up to like episode 5, but yeah, he's in it.
4, I think.
4 or 5, one of those.
Yeah, episode 4.
4, so halfway through.
Teach me how to make the pretty ampersand. I only know the shorthand 3 in the line,
Not an
but there's
ampersand.
that's a shorthand.
No, the ampersand is very specifically.
Yeah, that's the
that.
pretty one. That's the cursive one.
That's specifically an ampersand.
What do you call that?
I have no idea what you call that.
That's a lowercase ampersand.
I have no idea what you call it. Wait. Oh, IMC,
Mhm.
Interplanetary Mining Corporation,
Mhm.
and the Master.
And the Master. Those are our villains.
Yep. Alright. Drunk number 1. Drunk number 2.
Thing number 2.
I went to New Orleans on the holiday. That's why we weren't here last couple weeks. My wife got to ride out her first hurricane. It was about my 100th hurricane. We were in the French Quarter though, so we didn't lose power.
100, that's a lot.
Oh, I grew up in New Orleans and then Houston. There's a lot of hurricanes through those 2 towns. The French Quarter is the only part of New Orleans where the power lines are underground. It's the only part of New Orleans that's above sea level. So it's the only part of New Orleans that didn't lose power.
Oh, that's a good
Which
one.
was nice. Which means if you go to New Orleans, stay in the French Quarter.
Why is that?
Well, not
Is it
only
power lights?
power lines and proximity to everything you want to do,
Yes.
which is fine.
Proximity to alcohol.
No, if you're in Louisiana, you've got proximity to alcohol. There aren't liquor stores. They sell all the hard liquor in the grocery store.
Nice.
So not just wine and
I
beer.
like that. That
you got
should
all
be
the hard liquor.
every state. I don't understand these archaic, dry. What do you call it when they illegalized alcohol? Prohibition.
Yeah.
I don't get these archaic prohibition laws that, only certain stores can sell hard alcohol on only certain days and certain hours. It's just put it in Walmart.
There's still a bit of that in Texas. They're called blue laws, where you cannot sell hard alcohol on Sundays, except in a restaurant or a bar.
Because it's the Lord. It's the
Right,
Lord's
and
day.
even then, you can't sell it to either 11 a.m. or noon, one of the 2.
But what if you need some wine for the Paso?
No, wine's fine.
That's
Wine is
not
fine.
allowed.
You can buy wine on Sundays. You cannot buy spirits on Sundays. It's one of the last remaining blue laws in Texas. Most of the rest of them
In
were
the
done away
country,
with in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
I remember when they're there's a big law about dry passing on the earlier 2000s.
Well, Lubbock,
Specifically Lubbock. And
Lubbock was dry forever until they annexed the Strip.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the city was like, well, if we've annexed the Strip, we should make the city wet because you've got alcohol in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And they annexed it for tax purposes. So then the city went wet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been that way for 14 years, something like that. 13, 14 years. It took me a while before I'd go to a 7-Eleven, I'd see alcohol, and I was like, wait, what?
I was probably 11, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But I don't understand what the big deal is.
Agreed.
Have you heard the bad news? Sean Connery passed away.
He did.
He went peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by family members in like the Bahamas or something. Which, if you're gonna pass away, that's the way to do it. I tell you.
To Sean Connery.
To Sean Connery.
A man's
Bond.
man. The
Man's
original
man.
James Bond. Yeah.
So I saw a lot of cool Sean Connery stuff, old correspondence with Apple, him telling him basically he's not going to sell out. Steve Jobs was trying to get him to do an Apple commercial, and he's like, no thanks, I'm James Bond.
Yeah, and then right afterwards they announced the new 007 is going to be female.
Did they really? Huh. I saw a movie collection for, I always forget his name, Bond and Blonde.
Bond and Blonde?
The Bond Blonde. The Blonde
Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Okay.
There's like a movie collection. He did what, 4 movies?
4, and the new one's going to be his 5th, I think.
Okay, so they had all 4 of them for like $13. You can get all the Hunger Games movies for $13.
Walmart?
You want to Target.
Target.
You want to get all 8 Harry Potter movies.
$30.
$150. Apparently that brand is a lot more valuable than Hunger Games and James Bond. But I've been seeing a lot of cool James Bond collections. It's like a whole bunch of movies you can buy as a box set.
Well, there were 25 or so official movies, and then you have sideline movies like Never Say Never Again and the original Casino Royale.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the original Casino Royale is a really bad movie.
I heard. No, was it?
It is. Despite having Peter Sellers, David Niven, Orson Welles, Woody Allen, and a whole bunch of other people in it. Woody Allen, yeah, it's just a really bad movie.
Huh.
But it's a fun bad movie.
That will happen every once in a while.
I'll have to show it to you.
A really amazing cast and just it ends up being not a great movie.
Well, okay, so the story goes that they licensed the James Bond movies off the author, right? And they made them, and they were making a lot of money. So the author comes back and says, hey, I want more money. And they said, well, wait a minute, you licensed them to us for this amount of money, and you're going to get this amount of money every film. And he says, well, according to the contract, it's not exclusive.
Oh.
So he licensed it to another film production. They made the really bad one, and then he goes back and they just figured anything with James Bond on it would do well. So he goes back and he says, okay, I want more money and we'll make it exclusive. They're like, yes, it's exclusive. We'll give you more money. Because they didn't want him to destroy the brand, you know? Oh.
Very much the opposite of that happened with the Rolex watches. I was like a thing that James Bond always wore the Rolex watches. And then later in like Daniel Craig's movie career after Pierce Brosnan, the IP for James Bond was like, wait a minute, we're basically giving Rolex free advertisements. So they approach Rolex and they're like, hey, it's a thing that James Bond always wears Rolex watches because they're a nice watch. You know, we do that for free, but you know, this next movie, maybe you give us some money for advertising your Rolex watches. And Rolex goes, no thanks, we don't advertise. We're
Rolex.
We're Rolex. Everybody knows Rolex. So they're like, okay. And then Omega watches go, hey, we'll pay you. so they made it the very next Daniel Craig James Bond movie. There's that scene on the subway, and James Bond's wearing a really nice Omega watch, and there's the girl, and she goes, "Nice watch, is it Rolex?" He goes, "No, Omega." So they paid him to
product placement. I can go with that. Yeah.
I think it's a fun story.
All right. Okay.
Here's to James Bond. Here's to the man who started it all,
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Rest in peace.
Now I've got I need a new male hall pass if it ever happens. And I'm going with Brad Pitt.
It's a good one.
Brad Pitt from
I
Fight
thought
Club.
they were thinking about someone else for the new James Bond, the Venom guy.
I don't know, but the new 007 is the female from the new movie.
I heard rumors about what's his name?
I don't know.
He's English. He played Venom.
Yeah, I don't know.
He did. Yeah, I think I heard it from you.
Probably.
Who the next James Bond they're thinking about? I can't think of his name. It's Levi's favorite actor.
Oh, okay.
Levi's
So,
brother.
yeah. All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
colony in space.
All right.
Space.
So 6 episodes. In the first episode, you see the Doctor fiddling around with the dematerialization circuit, and he's got Joe Grant with him.
There's a scene with the Time Lords too.
Yeah, not yet. So the Brigadier comes in, says, "Hey, we're chasing down the Master. I've got a lead from a guy who knows what he's talking about." Doctor's like, sure, whatever. So the Brigadier leaves. The Doctor shows Joe Grant the TARDIS. In the meantime, the Time Lords show up and go, "Hey, there's this problem with this Doomsday machine, and we'll get the Doctor to help us because it's the Master." And they're like, "Well, can we send him there? Will he go?" They said, "Well, he doesn't like being exiled to Earth, so we'll give him back his TARDIS." It was basically the deal.
No one sends me anywhere. I'm a free agent, says the Doctor.
Yeah, that's not the case.
After being sent.
After being sent, yeah. So he's showing Joe Grant the TARDIS. They go into it. He puts the dematerialization
First time
circuit
she's been
in.
in the TARDIS. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
first time
She had been in the Master's TARDIS,
Yes,
I think, but
yes.
not the Doctor's TARDIS. When it was the horse carriage thing.
Yeah, with the horse carriage thing. So she goes into the TARDIS, and then it just starts on its own. The Doctor's about to start it just starts up, and the Doctor and Joe get sent to, what the heck is the name of that planet?
Did it ever say? It was
Yep.
a colonization planet. It had like a number associated to it.
No, it was Euceralius or something like that.
157 was
No,
its like
as-
colony designation.
As they're heading to the planet, the
Uh.
Doctor says the name. It's like Euceralius or something.
I
and-
missed that.
Oh,
That's my bad.
my bad.
A lot of numbers, colony designations, names being thrown around.
Yep. So anyway, the Doctor knows the name of the planet. Apparently, no one else does, including us. But it's like something like Euceralius, and so they land on the planet
Which would make sense because it's rich in
Duralinium,
duralinium.
which is like unobtainium. So anyway, this is in the year 2425?
2472.
2472.
The colonists arrived on Ursuralium in 2471. A little over a year. We're now in the year 2472.
And there are 100,000 million or 100 billion people living on
Billion
Earth.
people. Which has led to apparently really compact urban areas
Living conditions.
to where they have to use the only thing they can really construct their giant skyscrapers that hold all the people in their cities is with duralinium. So duralinium is literally a material that is the most valuable material because that's what they build their living structures out of.
Right. Somehow they're feeding these people. Okay. So
For some reason they built up rather than out.
well, they did both probably.
Hmm.
In
But we have How many people do we have on Earth now? 8-point-some billion?
7.5 billion.
7.5 billion. Every person on planet Earth could fit, like, New Jersey. Shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder. Stacked on top of each other.
So, like, there's plenty of room.
Well, the entire population
some
in
reason,
theory could fit in the United States. But
people really compact themselves.
Right,
so
right.
They build up in their urban areas. I'm sure they still have other areas.
But no, okay, not to get political or anything, but every 10 years or so they come up with a new reason that the world is going to be destroyed. It's the doomsday.
Yeah.
We're gonna all die. Global warming, global cooling, climate change, pollution, ozone layer. But okay, in the 60s, it was overpopulation.
Overpopulation.
So you had movies like Soylent Green. You had the song by Pink Floyd with the line, "If you survive till 2005, I hope you're exceedingly thin. For if you are stout, you will have to breathe out while the people around you breathe in." But it was all overpopulation. By the 70s, it was global cooling. By the 80s, it was the ozone layer. By the 90s, global warming. By the 2000s, climate change. It's just the same thing over and over and over again.
It's because they didn't know that technology would advance to the point to where we could successfully produce food for... The only
not only that,
problem for overpopulation was that they thought they couldn't feed everyone.
Right, and we saw that a bit with the second Doctor with...
the
what's his name?
The climate things.
No,
the second Doctor.
No, what's his name? The one that looked like the second Doctor.
Tron? What?
No, the one that
looked like the...
Yeah, the one that looked like him.
I don't know who looked like Tron.
Salamander. Remember Salamander kept doing the great grain fields of Russia.
Yes.
And you crazy. So, that was big time in that one was Salamander.
They also had the ones where they're controlling the Earth's for crops, like the rain, the environment.
Yeah.
The ozone for raining in Africa.
But yeah, no, in the 60s it was all supposed to be overpopulation, but they didn't take into account, because they never do, the fact that things fix themselves. Like the ozone layer fixed itself.
That's why they keep saying we're going to run out of fossil fuels.
And they keep finding more fossil fuels.
Producing more technology that more successfully mines fossil fuels.
Right. And not only that, but they become more efficient with it.
Mm-hmm. So more budget.
I have a hybrid. My car is a hybrid, you know. But anyway,
do you use that like E47 fuel? What is it called? Ethanol something?
No, it's just a hybrid. It's a Ford Fusion hybrid. I get about 40 miles to the gallon.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. So anyway, in the industrialized world, when you have enough prosperity, the birth rate goes down, so that the first world countries are not producing enough population to sustain themselves. So it's the second and third world countries that are producing most of the population. So they have to in order to survive.
That's why you saw like India back in the 1960s, their population soared, and then all of a sudden
they start to level out as they get more prosperous.
Yeah, their cities just exploded with commerce and infrastructure and
Mumbai, Bombay, New Delhi,
all of
places like that. But it levels out, and as long as you have a decent level of prosperity, you're going to have a declining birth rate, for better or worse. Japan's a classic example. Mm-hmm. Japan has a very low birth rate, and they're a reasonably prosperous country. It's just part of society. Mm-hmm. And the population problem takes care of itself, the same way global warming, global cooling, climate change, the ozone layer, all these things take care of themselves.
Thanks to technology.
Technology and an incredibly well-designed planet.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so the colonists, so the Doctor and Joe show up. The TARDIS lands. Joe's like, wait a second, we're really on another planet? And the doctor's like, yes, we're on another planet. And she gets really scared because she doesn't believe all of his stories until now. And suddenly they're overwhelming her and she gets frightened, which makes sense. Not every person's going to be able to race into adventure headlong. You're going to have some people who only embrace it very unwillingly,
But that's basically what happens to Jo is the doctor lures her out.
Yeah, he says, let's just check this out. Yeah.
Of adventure, and don't you want to explore another planet? And she's like, well, yeah, but
not now.
Wasn't expecting it. Did we have a change in the art direction or like set designers, showrunners? This episode seemed very different from others. There's like a few key stylistic changes with, wardrobe obviously because they're not on Earth anymore, but also just like the film effects. Like you have the TARDIS. The TARDIS normally fades out.
And here it pops in, pops out.
It just disappears and pops back in and pops out.
Yeah,
it's the first time we've seen the new Doctor really travel in the TARDIS, and it looks
correct. It's a combination. The first time the TARDIS is really being utilized in color with new special effects people and everything. I mean, the show constantly revitalizes itself by getting new people in for every position. By this point, we don't have the original director, we don't have the original producer or showrunner or any of that.
And the people
none of the original actors are there.
The old TARDIS effects, and then we had this really long span where the TARDIS didn't do anything.
Didn't work, yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
and now it's working, yeah.
It's kind of like that one episode where unexplainably the Doctor is able to displace that one object in time and space. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like I can't remember what it was. It's some key evidence, and then it disappeared and then it reappeared.
It was the reel tape.
Real tape, yeah. He's holding it, and then poof, it vanishes, and then it comes back. Excuse me.
God bless you. God bless you. All right. Cool. Anyway, so this is this Doctor's second season. He had 5. In this season, they finally got the pacing right. Because the previous season, they were writing for much longer serials, but the serials were shorter. And you had 7-episode serials that should have been 10. You had 4-episode serials, should have been 6. They were all stuffed because they were trying to write 40-something episodes a season or plot lines for the 40 episodes, and now it was 28. Now, they finally got the pacing right.
This serial, the previous serial was really well paced.
Right, and this one as well. It was 6 episodes, and it should have been 6 episodes. It was just, pacing was perfect. They finally have gotten used to the 25, 28 episodes as opposed to the 40-something. And that was really, really good. Okay, so anyway, the Doctor and Jo Grant go onto the planet. They're looking around. They get picked up, captured by a colonist. The colonist takes them back to the main, and they already noticed these geodesic biodomes, right? And this guy with a rifle captures him and takes him to the main one.
Was that Winton or Dave?
No, that wasn't Winton. I think it was one of the non-named guys, but they take them in and they take them to.
I have a lot of names here.
Yeah, what's the main guy?
We had Ash. Robert Ash.
Yeah.
We also had the Leesons, Jane Leeson and Mr. Leeson.
Right.
They're the ones
that died pretty quickly, yeah. But they take them to the main dome of these colonists, and the colonists are literally subsisting on bare bones crops, and their crops are not taking, unfortunately.
Some mysterious force that causes them to weather.
Correct. But so the Doctor shows up, and they think he's a mineralogist, and they're worried about some company coming in, taking the planet, and they're worried about him being a mineralogist. Yeah. So he shows up and he's like, "Look, what's wrong with meteorologists?" They say he's like, "But I'm not one. I'm not here on anything. We're just travelers, explorers." In the meantime, they go. All these colonists who are suspicious. Ash is really friendly, but Witten is pretty suspicious. And Ash says, "Okay, well, we'll just stay here the night. We'll keep you as our guests. Why don't we go in and we'll get you fed?" And they go in, and that's when the young girl, Mary Ash, or what's her name? The daughter of Ash. The street urchin looking one. You don't have her name?
I have her last name.
Ash.
Morgan.
I think it was Mary, but it might have been
I
Morgan.
think it's an M name. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
M Ash.
Yeah. So she was like, "Oh, we left in '71," and Joe goes, "1971." She goes, "No, 2,471." I don't know.
And Joe goes, "Is this the first course?" And she's like,
"That's all of it.
This is the only meal we get."
What was the other lady that said that? Yeah. But so Joe finally figures out that they're traveling in time as well as space. She finally that hits home. Right.
The realization.
And she's like, "All your stories were true, Doctor?" "Yes, they were."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, we got the third Doctor up there. I finally got a frame that fit these pictures, so we're gonna have the Doctor up there, whichever Doctor we're on for the time.
Plus reoccurring villains. We have like a poster for the Daleks and the Cybermen.
Only more frames. We got the same thing for them, the Daleks and Cybermen, but I would need more frames.
Okay.
And I got that frame in Fredericksburg, so I don't know. Maybe
I'm sure Amazon has it. Yeah,
Hobby Lobby probably has it. But we found it at the 5, 10, and 25 cent store in Fredericksburg, Texas.
5, 10, and 25 cent store?
Yeah, nickel, dime, quarter.
That cost a quarter?
It was $4.
Well, that's not...
Well, it used to be, the
misleading.
stuff used to be 5, 10, 25 cents.
That's like Dollar General charging you,
$3.
Not a dollar.
That's what it is. Welcome to inflation, sir. This is not the 1940s anymore.
Unfortunately.
What? Okay, so apparently that night there's some sort of creature.
Iguana.
A giant iguana, a giant lizard that attacks one of the outlying... Huh?
You come and go. Karma chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was an iguana, not a chameleon.
Come a chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. That was Culture Club. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Yeah. So
Iguana though.
Giant iguana attack. So in the colony you got the main dome, and you got some outlying domes for the different families. There's so many people on Earth, people trying to escape, to get away, and a substance farm on other planets just to have room. So this giant iguana attacks one of the outlying domes and kills 2 people, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the kill count for this children's show?
Alright, so 19, which consists of 3 off-screen deaths, 13 on-screen humans, 3 on-screen aliens, and then
the genocide of 3 separate races. Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Awesome.
That figure is not included in 19. You're talking thousands, if not. Yeah, you go thousands. Of
We don't
peoples.
know how many aliens lived in this subterranean.
Okay, if you're gonna have a city, you're at least gonna have thousands. If you're gonna have a race that can sustain itself, you're at least gonna have thousands. So thousands.
This is like an indigenous tribal alien race, which can be.
Yeah, it was people
Could
with
be
green
pretty
masks
close
and
to-
funky green suits.
Yeah, it looked like they needed some exfoliation, some
and
lotion,
and their butt flaps. You know, they're wearing
Yeah.
butt flaps and using spears.
Spears.
All right, so and they make off with the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in Marco Polo, they tip it over and they take it away.
The TARDIS over, and they just haul it off.
And that happens time and time again.
You think, there would be a mechanism to electric paneling to where you can't push it over, maybe some
There are such mechanisms used
spatial
occasionally.
construction to where it can't be moved or...
Right, or a force field. It's used occasionally, but I believe the Doctor has to set them.
So he's kind of absent-minded. He's lured away on exploring this new world, and
it's whatever the plot needs, you know.
I'm tired of the plot of the TARDIS going missing. As far as technology is concerned, the TARDIS should not go missing.
Okay, get used to that. It's gonna get worse.
Oh boy.
Okay. So anyway, a couple people die in one of the outlying dealies. I think we're going into episode 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
The word gets back to the main biodome for the colonists that it was attacked by a giant lizard. So they send out people to look for it. Okay. More plot.
Plot.
Okay, the Doctor figures out in the meantime the colonists are... What?
This means tinkle in sign language. It's a T and tinkle. It's bathroom.
Cool.
This is poop.
I know the sign language for bodily functions. Okay. Anyway, so the Doctor figures out that they are living on subsistence, but that they're running out of supplies. Robert Ash, he's a really good leader. He's fantastic. He rallies his men, he leads the colony, and he's a man of integrity. Love this guy. Great voice too. Good demeanor. Good bearing. Man, that's a word we don't use anymore. Bearing. Anyway, so apparently they plant their crops, but the crops don't take. They keep dying of some other radiation or whatever. There's something unnatural on the planet happening. So the Doctor ends up trying to assist them. In the meantime, another one of the biodomes gets attacked, one of the small ones outside, and the Doctor and Ash go to check it out. A couple were killed, and there's all claw marks everywhere, so here's the giant iguana thing. In the meantime, Ash goes back to the colony because something else is going on, and the Doctor gets found there by somebody completely brand new. And you find out he is from IMC, Interplanetary Mining Corporation, so he's a bad guy. This guy says, hey, you need to come to my ship with me. We have questions for you. This guy is Caldwell. He's a miner, specifically. And the Doctor goes back to the ship with him. And at the ship, he talks to the main guys, Captain Dent and Morgan. I can't remember second in command's name. This is number 2. He talks to them, and they figure out that he's not a colonist. He says, look, I'm just passing through. I'm an explorer, but I'll take this information back to the colonists for you. So come to find out, the Doctor's sent back with the number 2 in command, and the whole idea is to kill the Doctor. So Dent sends the necessary equipment, which turns out to be a robot with giant claw hands, to create the claw marks in the building and on all the metal. And of course to kill the people. pardon me. So the doctor figures this out, and the Morgan guy's asking him about it. And he says, yeah, I think this was all faked. And the Morgan guy's, well, what, by something like this? And he pushes a button and the robot comes in. The judge is like, yeah, something exactly like that. The Morgan guy pulls the gun on him. And the judge says, well, you're trying to kill me, make it look like this iguana killed me. You can't shoot me because that'll belay the whole point, because monsters don't have guns. So he then karate chops Venusian Fu. He uses a lot of the Venusian Fu in this whole serial. Karate chops the guy, gets the remote control out of his hand. The guy runs away, barely gets past the robot and outside. The doctor ducks down and behind and barely manages to get the remote control. Smashes it and goes, okay, the robot's decommissioned. So the doctor leaves and heads back to the main geodesic dome. In the meantime, Ash is trying to rally his people, and Winton is trying to rally them. He's the number 2 there, trying to rally them to leave. And actually, no, we've been here we've invested so much of our time and our life into this place. We have to stay. So then the doctor shows up, explains to them what's going on, explains to them that the creature was,
It explains them.
Explains to them the creature was a mechanical robot, not a giant iguana, even though the people saw it. And he says it's some sort of visual misrepresentation, visual
illusion,
trickery. So anyway, Ash rallies his people around him, and just at that moment, a straggler comes in.
Yes.
Helped by one of the colony people, Norton. He comes in and he says they had a colony somewhere hundreds of kilometers away.
He made an antivirus. Norton antivirus.
No, wrong Norton.
Oh.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So the Norton guy says the iguanas kill everything. The doctor says no they didn't, and he's like, the doctor's mad. They killed my family, they killed everybody, and the indigenous people turned on us once we were low in number because of the iguanas. In the meantime, we have seen the indigenous greeny people and the aborigines, if you want. And
indigenous, yeah.
Yeah, and Ash has a good relationship with them because they seem telepathic. They don't talk, but Ash talks to them and they understand him because they're reading his mind.
Jim Holden.
Jim Holden?
The
yeah, he's the mechanic.
Has an indigenous alien as his assistant.
Are we still in episode 2?
I think so.
If it is, it's barely. Barely. So,
I'm trying to read my notes.
So, Ash,
yeah, that's episode 2.
Yeah, okay, barely. So Ash gives the indigenous people's food. Witness, like, we can't keep giving them food, we're running out, because it's basically gruel. Right. So apparently the power supply for the colony was the old nuclear generator from the ship, which, what's his name? Jim
Holden.
Jim Holden. Yeah, Holden.
It's the last name.
Holden's his last name, but it's just... No, Holden's your first name.
Yeah, I have a first name, last
name.
name.
And it's this guy's last name.
It's most people's last name.
Yeah. So...
It's very few people's first name.
Right.
I've met a few.
So this guy's an old tinkerer.
However, I haven't met any other Hatter Gwendolyn. That's a slightly more unique one.
The most wonderful thing about Hatters is I'm the only one. Yes, I'm the only one. You remember that?
No.
Tigger? Winnie the Pooh?
Oh!
The most wonderful thing about Tigger is I'm the only one. Yeah, it's in
Spring.
True. So this old guy, Jim Holden, has an indigenous person helping him, and they seem to get along famously because he thinks what he needs, a spanner or a screwdriver or whatever, and the indigenous person gives it to him, and they're great friends apparently.
Because they're
And
telekinetic.
yeah, telepathic.
Telepathic.
And this Jim Holden is keeping the power supply going.
Yes. The only one who really knows how to work on the
the only engineer who was willing to come with them.
Did you explain how they get their power from tapping into the nuclear reactor on the spaceship that they
Right.
landed on?
So anyway, at the end of the episode, Norton shows up, beats the what are they called? The primitives is what they keep calling them.
Yeah, the indigenous
people,
alien race.
Yeah, the green guys.
It never really gives them a name.
Yeah, I don't like primitives, but you know what are we gonna do?
Indigenous.
Okay, Aborigines, whatever. So Indians. I mean,
natives to the planet. Natives.
All right. So anyway, this Norton guy beats the indigenous guy over the head with a spanner. Just bam, a big old monkey wrench, and knocks him out, kills him. And then he takes the guy's spear and runs.
Most of the natives carry a spear.
Carry spears,
And this one, the assistant just set his up in the corner when he's assisting Jim. So he knocks out the
the same way my shotgun is leaning up over there. Yeah.
You entered the room, he set his spear in the corner, he's assisting Jim Holden on the nuclear reactor, knocks him over the head with the spanner, then takes the indigenous person.
But he takes a spear and then runs Jim Holden through.
That's the end of episode 2.
Yeah, in episode 2. So, episode 3, the power goes down because apparently Norton took the spanner to it as well, to the supply. And he runs to Ash and tells Ash, "Oh my God, this is so horrible. I saw everything." And he lies to Ash and tells Ash that the indigenous person ran Holden through with the spear, and that he had to beat it to save himself in self-defense. Because remember, he kept lying about all of them.
We don't know.
We don't know he's lying yet, but he kept saying that
reptilians, indigenous turned
on the people after they gotten mostly wiped out by the giant lizards.
Speaking of Jim Holden and how that's a last name, but it's my first name.
Yeah.
People name people weird names, especially celebrities. Like, you know, celebrities have really weird names for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to play a game, Hatter? Because I have a game that we can play.
It's not figuring out your stripper name, is it?
No. Similar. It's called Car or Baby Name. So I have a list of names that I can ask you, and you can guess whether or not it's a celebrity's baby name or a car name that a manufacturer made.
There's going to be a whole lot of those with the same name.
There are a few, but that's a trick question.
Never, ever name your daughter after a car. Because my daughter's name is Mercedes. It's just saying, drive my daughter. Please, drive my daughter.
Shelby.
Oh, there's a whole ton of them.
Are you ready to play? You feel up to the challenge? Really quick.
Right. Okay, sure.
Alright, so kid. KYD. KYD.
Baby.
Correct. Yeah, that's a celebrity's baby name. I think it's a musician. Alright, pup. P-up. P''UP. Pup.
Baby.
It's a car.
It's a car.
Yeah.
Wait, in what country?
I forgot to write that down. I think it's like a international Mercedes car or something.
Well, it sounds like something out of like Czechoslovakia or the Slavic Republic now, or something like that.
Let me check.
Are you on your phone?
No, I wrote this all down.
No, no phone. That's supposed to be away in case you get a call or something. That's supposed to. Did you grab your phone when you went to use the restroom?
No.
Yes.
It's a fun game, Hatter. It's an Isuzu. The Isuzu Pup. P-up.
Yeah,
Are you ready for the next one?
No.
You're 1 for 2, right? It's Lettuce. Is Lettuce a baby name or a car?
Lettuce is a baby name.
It's a car.
No, Lettuce is the name of a singer on Britain's Got Talent.
Oh, okay. Is that a celebrity though?
Well, she is now. She was friggin' amazing. No, she played the violin and sang, and she was phenomenal.
One I was thinking of was the Mitsubishi Lettuce.
I'm going with it's actually a person's name.
Okay,
it is.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll call that one a draw.
0.5. You're 1.5 true. All right.
I'm batting 500. I'll take it.
Bongo Friendly. Bongo Friendly. Is that a car or a celebrity baby?
Bongo
Friendly. Mm-hmm.
That's gotta be a person. It's gotta be a baby.
It's a car. It's a
where?
camper, and it has like this tent pop-up. Let me see who the manufacturer is. But a Bongo Friendly is a car.
From Ethiopia? From where?
No, it's a camper car.
They don't have camper cars in Ethiopia? What are you saying?
Well, they might.
I don't.
I think it's Australia.
Okay, I could actually see that. I could actually believe that.
It is a Mazda Bongo Friendly, and it's like a van, but it has like this pop-up camper attachment, so you can stand up in the back and beds.
What country?
Mazda Friendly in, I guess it's like a Japanese thing. Mazda.
It sounds Japanese.
I don't know where. All right. Zoe Bowie. Is it a car or a baby?
Baby. Daughter of David Bowie.
David Bowie.
Yes.
He changed his name. He didn't like Zoe Bowie.
No. David Bowie changed his name to David Bowie. He was originally David Jones, but there was a singer from the Monkees, Davy Jones. So David Bowie took the name of the Bowie knife from Bowie and changed his name to David Bowie.
David Bowie named his son Zoe Bowie.
Right, and his son didn't like it. But
Zoe Bowie changed his name to Duncan Jones and became a film director.
There you go. But seriously, Frank Zappa had a couple of kids.
Mm-hmm.
He named his daughter Moon Unit Zappa.
Moon Unit Zappa.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the perfect person for this game because you know way more general celebrity. You're
No, my wife would be the perfect person for this game.
Yes.
She knows everything about every celebrity ever and who they married and what movies they were in and who they dated, and she's incredible.
You're 2.5 for 4, so over 50%.
Slightly over 500, yeah.
All right. Holden. Is that a celebrity name or a car?
That's you.
I'm not a celebrity. Is there a celebrity baby named Holden, or is it a
I will
car?
go with the celebrity baby named Holden.
There's not a celebrity named Holden as far as I'm aware. But it is a car.
It's you.
It's a car. I'm not a celebrity. There's a car
Called Holden.
Holden by GMC in Australia. There's a Holden car. I'm sure there's probably a celebrity with the last name of Holden.
I'll take the 0.5 again.
0.5. So that brings you to 3 out of 5.
No, but seriously, look up Letta. She's gorgeous, she's posh, she's British, she plays the violin like nobody's business.
Good deal. I like
Seriously.
violin. She's a big fan of violin.
Oh, she's fantastic.
All right. Banjo. Is that a car or a celebrity baby? Banjo.
I could literally go either way.
Alright.
I'm gonna go with a car.
No,
It was a baby?
It's Rachel Griffiths. Rachel Griffiths' baby.
Okay.
She named her child Banjo.
Ugh.
Banjo and Kazooie.
What? Is it a boy or girl?
I think it's a boy. Banjo. Yeah. Seraph Griffiths' son is named Banjo. I don't know.
I'm gonna finger the banjo tonight. I mean, that is just bad. It's like, I'm gonna drive Mercedes tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
how many more of these are there?
Just a couple more. Almost done. All right. Sharon Carrot. Sharon Carrot.
Baby.
It's a car. It's a Volkswagen Sharon Carrot.
I give up. I'm done. Alright. Whatever the next one is, it's a baby.
Alright.
I don't care.
Lightning round.
Baby.
Real quick. Lightning round. I'm going to name, and you use car, baby. All right. Lion.
Baby.
It's a car.
Don't
Cricket.
care. Baby.
It's a car. car.
Don't care.
Bear.
Baby.
It's a car.
Don't care.
Otter.
Baby.
You're right.
Yay!
Otter.
Don't care.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's a car. Python.
Don't care, baby. Don't care.
Python Zoe Deschanel's.
Zoe Deschanel's baby.
His name Python.
Oh my gosh. His
All right.
first name's Monty, right?
Yeah, let's Monty Python. No, I think Python's first name, Python Deschanel. All right, let's switch it up a little bit. Last couple ones. Now we're gonna guess if it's a baby or a craft beer. Sparrow Midnight. Is that-
Baby, don't care.
It's a baby.
Yay, don't care.
Nicole Richie's baby is Sparrow Midnight. It sounds like a craft beer though, right?
No, okay. Okay. In a later episode of Doctor Who, there's a girl sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Doctor Light episode. And she's absolutely fantastic. She's amazing. And, no, seriously.
The doctor was on vacation. He passed out. The series was gone for a couple episodes.
Well, yeah, you know how they have the doctor on vacation for a series, you know, for like 2 or 3 episodes?
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious or whatever.
Captive.
Same scenario. You don't see the doctor for an episode. He's just barely there.
Of the drunk hiccups.
Right. He's on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
But Sparrow is phenomenal. The episode's called Blink. Okay.
I've heard of Blink.
Yes. Okay. If you're gonna show somebody new Doctor Who,
Blink is the Weeping Angels one?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're gonna show somebody 20th century Doctor Who to get them interested, you show them City of Death.
The revival.
Which we will get to. No, that's the 20th century Doctor Who.
Oh.
If you show them 21st century Doctor Who, the current revival, the second revival,
Blink.
to get them interested, you show them Blink.
And Vincent Van Gogh.
Vincent's a different episode.
That's one of the more popular revival.
It's a fantastic episode. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's so good.
Going into this podcast, I knew nothing about Doctor Who, right? I've never watched an episode of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the ingenue, we're my
Correct,
Doctor Who mentor. I had only ever heard of 2 episodes in my life. Blink and Vincent
and the Doctor. Yeah. Oh,
That's
my
the only
gosh.
2 I've ever heard of.
God, I'm going through this stuff. I'm gonna be wasted.
All right, two more questions. For
Really?
you,
I don't care. Baby.
Let's-
Baby.
All right, so you're a fan of indie films, right? You know, bad movies, good movies, indie films. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna guess if this is a baby name or an indie film. Saint Laszlo. Is that a celebrity baby name or an indie film? Saint Laszlo.
Sounds like both. But I'll go with baby name.
That's correct. It's Pete Wentz named his child Saint Laszlo. Could you imagine naming a baby Saint Laszlo?
Oh, there's an actor called Judge. His first name's Judge.
Judge Dredd.
No, like Judge Reinhold or something like that.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an actor. But his first name's Judge. I mean,
Have you watched the Judge Dredd movies?
the first one. I haven't seen the one with
Fantastic.
the bones from Star Trek.
Fantastic.
The new bones from the new Star Trek.
Fantastic films. Hope they make another. All right, last one. Are you familiar with the website Kickstarter?
Yeah.
So I want you to guess if this is a Kickstarter or a celebrity baby name. All right, Crystal Bacon.
Crystal Bacon.
Crystal Bacon, is that a Kickstarter or did a celebrity name their baby
That's Kevin Bacon's daughter.
Crystal Bacon? Are you sure?
It sounds awesome. I want it to be Kevin Bacon's daughter.
It's actually a Kickstarter.
It's a Kickstarter.
Someone started a Kickstarter to make Crystal Bacon, and it's literally bacon made out of crystal.
I want to be Kevin Bacon. Put that phone away.
it's-
Put that back on the charger.
I'll put it in the safety deposit.
No, put it in the charger. You got a charger. Put it there.
Safety deposit.
No, we don't want anyone to call. And
Safety deposit. All right, moving on. Episode 3.
I think we're rolling to episode 3.
We have the doctor wanting to visit the indigenous people, the natives.
No, you just dropped your phone down in the middle of the couch.
Safety deposit. I don't have my phone. It's gone. That's a fantastic television. Philips.
Okay.
I have the same 2 monitors that you have.
Oh, I ordered my new computer.
You ordered your new computer?
Yeah.
That's exciting. I thought that was a next year project.
It was until my wife was told she needs to work from home. And so she's going to do her work here on the computer.
That's fantastic.
But we're getting the new computer because if we could set it up on this one.
Uh-huh.
And then in a few months we'd have to set it up all again.
Yeah.
So it got moved to this year.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure it'll be much faster. Dude, working from
that
home.
computer's 10 years old.
Yeah. Working from home is fantastic. That's the dream. That's exciting.
But yeah.
Hey, I just built my computer. Let me know if you need any help.
I have several people who are wanting to help me build it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ordered the parts from
like adult Legos. Newegg, that's a good website.
And I'm going to build it.
Awesome.
Dude, with help. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like adult Legos. I felt really nervous going into it the first time, but now it's so fun. It's so fun building.
Well, I did something like that, but
you
in
save a lot of money.
80s. I mean,
yeah, it's
way back when.
I just want to build computers all day now. I've been watching a lot of videos.
But it's going to be good. It'll help us with the video rendering for these.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to have a much better processor and 64 gigs RAM.
Did you? Ooh, 64 gigs. Nice.
64 gigs of RAM.
Well, that will help. Did you go AMD?
Of course.
Nice. I love AMD. They've really mastered the multi-processor. I have an 8-core processor, AMD.
Yeah, mine's 12 core.
Nice. Yeah, that's a lot of cores.
12 core.
That's gonna help with, 12 cores. You can do so many things with 12 cores.
Yeah, I don't need to do
live stream, video editing, gaming, work.
I've got
all at the same time.
I've got a 1 terabyte hard drive, solid state drive.
SSD, yeah.
For the boot up.
Dude, that's so great. I put my operating system on an SSD. It boots up so fast.
Yeah.
Like faster than my Chromebook. And Chromebooks are made to boot up fast.
This thing takes like 8 minutes or 10 minutes.
I believe it. Yeah, that happens.
And
hard drive.
For the internal hard drive, for the Drunk Doctor Who storage, 8 terabyte.
Nice, that's huge. Huge.
Thank you, I get that a lot.
Huge.
Okay. But anyway, so this video is going to be rendered on the old computer. Hopefully the next one or the one after will be rendered on the new computer,
That's
which will be a lot
so
faster.
Much faster. Yeah. I'm excited.
And I still need the heroes and villains.
I'll email it to you. Yeah,
thing
I have it
for when we start doing that stuff.
And I've ordered the sound foam as well.
Oh, okay.
So we can
next
week.
Eventually we get the new microphone, and hopefully the little dealie behind the camera.
I'm a virgin. This is my virgin card. Have you heard that? If you can take off your Braille label in one piece, that means you're a virgin.
Well, you are. I'm not.
Or is it if you take it off in one piece, you're not a virgin? Either or.
Okay.
It's something like.
Okay. Anyway.
Episode 3.
Where the hell were we? Okay.
We got episode 3. We have.
Oh, we're in the middle of episode 3 or something.
The doctor is investigating the dugout where the Leesons passed away. Mysteriously,
Oh, we're past that.
IMC person shows up.
They captured him. That's episode 2.
They take him back to the spaceship.
Take him back to the spaceship. Okay. So, so the new guy, Norton?
Norton, the spy. Yeah, Norton, the spy.
He ends up being a spy.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Oh, okay. Dude, this is like a 50-year-old episode. They haven't seen it now. By now,
well, that's the whole point. Is the newer generation exploring older Doctor Who, and they're probably watching along with us, or at least experiencing the older.
Well, hopefully they're watching it and then watching us.
Yeah.
So they've already seen it. They know what's going on.
Spoiler.
Okay, so Norton ends up being a spy.
Ole.
He He ends up transmitting what the colonists are going to do back to the ship.
You need a refill?
Oh, I just refilled.
Oh.
You go get one. If you've got any more of those. If not, grab some of mine. Okay. I think I'm conflating a couple of the episodes together at this point. Episodes 3 and 4. So the mining ship finds that the planet is stupid rich with delirium. They decide then, because they've already talked to the doctor and tried to kill the doctor, that they fly over to the colonists and land there. The colonists are like, hey, what are you doing here? The one good miner is like, well, wait, I didn't want to kill anybody. Why'd we kill people? The captain of the ship and his first mate are willing to murder and kill whomever so they can get their bonuses and live rich on Earth. But Caldwell, the miner with the ship, has a conscience and humanity, and he's not willing to do all this stuff. He ends up helping people. He saves Joe Grant, he saves the doctor, and it just turns out to be a good guy. Alright, so then the miners are talking to the colonists. They're like, hey, we've got the ability to mine here. The colonists are like, no, this was given to us to colonize planet. We need to talk to an adjudicator. So they call for an adjudicator, which is apparently an arbiter. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Well, same for adjudicator, I guess. So they call for an adjudicator. And he's somebody who's going to show up and adjudicate or arbitrate between the two opposing factions. And apparently his word is basically law. So then the miners and the colonists call for him. He shows up. He lands and he talks to the colonists. And he says, okay, well, we need to get everybody together. However, in the meantime, Joe Grant and Winton, the second in command of the colonists, decide to go sneak onto the spaceship of the miners to see what's going on. However, Norton turns out, like we said, to be a spy, and he rats them out so that they end up being captured. Captain Dent then sends them to an indigenous primitive cave dwelling where they are handcuffed and chained to a bomb, an explosive device that they use for drilling and for gathering the minerals from the planet. So they're trying to escape. There's a little bit of grease on the bomb, and Winton puts it on Joe Grant's cuff so she can barely slip her hands through, because she's really, really tiny, like maybe 80 pounds, 5'1". So she slips her hands through, and she gets a rock, and she breaks his chains. He still has the cuffs on, but the chains are gone. They start to run away. Their guard comes in, grabs her, captures her, holding her in one arm. She was like maybe 80 pounds. Winton gets away. Winton heads back to warn the colonists about exactly what's going on with the interplanetary mining company. Okay, so he gets away, he gets back, and he says, okay, we need to attack him in the morning. So we go to episode 4. In episode 4, Winton ends up launching an attack on the spaceship. The doctor keeps trying to talk him out of it, and he can't. So he says, well, I can't talk you out of it, I'm going to help you. So he ends up helping them, not only in the style of attack, in the method of attack and the plan of attack, but even
deception.
He's there himself attacking.
Basically, they sneak on board. They're able to very rapidly overthrow the security guards. That way, ultimately, the doctor's plan resulted in less loss of life.
Right. There's still loss of life.
A little bit.
But yeah, so they end up getting on board. They end up taking over the ship because they actually have the numbers, even though they don't have the armaments.
Mm-hmm.
And then they obtain the armaments. So they take over the ship and they hold capture all of the men of the Interplanetary Mining Company. About the same time, the Arbiter lands.
Arbiter.
Arbiter's a more common name. The what's his name in here?
Administrator.
No, not administrator.
Judge.
The judge. Okay, you don't have written down what he is?
I didn't write down his position.
Alright,
Administrator.
well, it's not administrator. Arbiter's a more common term. I literally just said the word and I can't think of it now because I'm drunk.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're watching this maybe sober. If you're sober, you know. If you don't, if you're not sober, well, welcome to our world. So he shows up and he's like, well, I need to see everybody together. So they have to then bring the people from the ship over to the main dome. This is episode 4. And he starts holding a trial.
Tribunal.
Well,
3 parties.
I know, a tribunal's 3 people. But he's only one. They call it tribunal, but it's not really a tribunal.
They have the colonists, the miners, and then...
Him, but the tribunal means 3 judges. It's literally what it means. 3 judges, but there's only 1 judge.
Mm-hmm. So it's not really a tribunal.
It's not. They call it tribunal, but it's not. But anyway, or he calls it tribunal. So he's like, okay. He hears everything from the colonists. They're like, look, this is what they did. They murdered our people. They had this robot. They had this fake projection thing.
No evidence.
But we have no evidence because they destroyed it. And then he listens to the IMC side. He's like, okay, I rule in favor of... Well, he doesn't rule yet.
He says, look, this planet has been designated for colonization and mineral extraction.
Because of a computer glitch.
Computer error. It's not really suitable for colonization because you can't farm on it.
Well,
so in that case...
But he doesn't do that yet because a doctor shows up and goes, it's the master. And it was the master, Roger Delgado, as...
Arbiter.
Yeah. What the heck was the name now?
Alabaster.
No, not Alabaster.
Was that a color? Pearl? White?
Alabaster's a type of sheen, I believe.
Paladins.
Okay, type of sheen.
Arbiter.
Anyway, so the master's like, and the doctor's like, I'm going to expose you as a fraud. The master's like, look, I've got all these documents.
He's
like,
fraud.
Yeah. He's like, the doctor's like, they're fake, right? He says, yes, but they're really good, aren't they? And you have none of this. So he says, look, you shouldn't expose me because I will expose you not having any accreditation and you will be host. So the doctor decides not to. In the meantime, when the master goes out, he goes in favor of IMC, and they're like, yay, we got away with this crap. And they all go back to their ship and get drunk.
Government.
Government.
The thug Morgan was so drunk. They're all drinking wine.
Morgan, right? His name was Morgan?
Morgan, the thug.
Yay, okay, I got that right.
And then we had, who's the double agent? David?
Norton.
Norton is there, and he's like, well, you know, colonists, moral. And then Morgan goes over. He's like, You don't know what you're talking about. Just absolutely
He
plastered.
does.
He's yelling. He gets up way close in his face. You're like, he's drunk.
He does. Okay, so then the Doctor and Joe decide to head off to see what the Master's up to by going to his TARDIS, which he disguises the landing ship.
Yes.
They go into his TARDIS. They find the actual adjudicator.
Adjudicator.
The adjudicators.
Called
The
certification.
Certifications, accreditations.
There's the tripwire that they have
But
to crawl
yeah, they
under.
sink under a tripwire. And they're in there, and the Doctor's trying to figure out why the Master's so interested in this planet. And they're looking at all of it and everything. And then Joe Grant decides to leave and trips the tripwire, the little laser light thingy. And
Super absent. So there's this whole big deal where they discover the tripwire. They have to crawl under it.
Yeah,
And then
rather than step
investigating.
over it.
Yeah, it's only like a foot tall, 1.5 feet, 2 feet. And then Joe's like, I'm out. And she just steps right into the tripwire.
She trips it off. The Doctor and she are gassed. They're gassed.
The Master
and-
has this little Palm Pilot. It's-
Right, he
it's
sees-
beeping, he
yeah.
sees the video.
But he sees some gas.
Presses the button, sleep gas.
Alright, so in the meantime, Ash of the colonists, the leader of the colonists, has decided, hey,
What?
we can appeal. We don't need to invade the ship. We can appeal.
What would it look like if I curled my mustache like a Captain Hook?
It would look like you curled your mustache.
Could I pull that off? If I grew out my mustache and
Possibly, yeah.
curled it?
You would need mustache wax.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pull that off.
Possibly, but they do make mustache wax. I've
What
had
if I
some.
go with a goatee?
A Van Dyke or a goatee?
Goatee.
So no mustache.
Van Dyke.
Van Dyke is the mustache and the goatee.
I thought the Van Dyke was the no mustache.
No. The goatee is just this. Very big with the beatniks in the 50s.
I don't like the goatee.
This part is, and the goatee is called a Van Dyke.
Yeah. This whole patch. I'm getting ready to do something. I'm super shaggy. I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm gonna shave, but I just don't know if I should do anything interesting.
Go with the Van Dyke.
What if I go with the Fu Manchu and just grow this out? So I couldn't do that.
You're trying to date, right?
No.
Okay. If you go with the Fu Manchu, don't try to date. Alright.
I think I might just go with like a thin beard, just shave it down, kind of like stubbly beard.
The little pencil thingy.
No, not the chin strap. Look, no, the same surface area, just shorter.
Whatever you want to do.
I don't know what I want to do.
Okay, so Ash goes to the Master. The not arbitrator. What do we say?
Or mediary.
Dude, we just had it.
I know you did.
I just said it. Okay.
Adjudicator.
So Ash goes to the adjudicator, that's the Master, and says, hey, we can appeal, right? And that'll help us. And, okay, I left out the whole part where Joe was taken to the native city. And the Doctor went there to get her. Alright, go back to an episode.
Well, you talked
Episode
about how
4.
she was captive, and then
but
the one guy makes his escape, and the guard,
right.
Alan, the guard, he shoots at the guy that's getting away. He has
Whitney gets him in the shoulder.
heart tucked out near the arm.
Okay.
And
So episode 4, Wynton ends up with Joe Grant, and then the natives come in, and he shoots and kills one of them, children's show.
Yes.
And then they throw a spear into his heart and kill him, children's show. They end up taking Joe Grant to their city, which has a secret entrance in the rocks.
Yes.
They take her to their city, she's held captive. the doctor says, well, I'm trying to get to Joe Grant, and that's one of the main reason he helps lead the attack on the ship.
Yes.
So he finds out that she's disappeared. He finds out from Ash that they sometimes capture people and hold them for ransom for food. So he goes to their city. While he's there, he meets not only the green people, which seem to be the muscle, and they don't speak, they're telepathic, and some short, white, brainy people with big brains on their heads that also don't speak and are telepathic, but seem to be more...
Basically me. Big brainy.
Seem to be more intelligent than the muscle. And then at the end, he meets an actual talking, super little weird, creepy, childlike thing with a brain.
Baby brain.
Yeah, it's really creepy. That's supposedly the height of their race's development. So he goes through with Joe Grant, and they see the fresco of the advancement of their civilization.
Yes.
That goes from wonderful to this, to this, to this. Right.
Yeah. The collapse of their society.
Of their civilization. And apparently it's split into three, which is the muscle, the medium brains, and then the big brain. And the big brain's like, you're here, you must die. And the doctor's
no trespassing.
Like, well, wait a second. We're visitors to your planet. We don't know any of this.
We were taken here.
Yeah, she was brought here against her will. I came to get her. Justice says you shouldn't kill us. And the brain's like, you are of higher intelligence. Even though she's of no value, I will let you both go. And Joe Grant's kind of looking at the doctor like, no value? Help. But they get to go and they leave. Okay, so...
But if you ever return, you will surely die.
Kill you, yeah, you will surely die. So, advance to episode 6, or episode 5. So the Master finds he's really looking for this city of the indigenous peoples.
The ruins.
Right, he's like, well, if this planet could be shown to be of significant historical value, then, you might actually
have a case
for appeal. Right. So he tells him about the city of the indigenous people. He's like, well, I'd like to go there. He says, well, no one's been there and come back except the doctor. He's like, oh. And that's when he goes and he saves the doctor in episode 6 from his own TARDIS. Right.
Sleep gas. Yeah, he's like, I just might know where they are.
Yeah, so he gives him oxygen, wakes the doctor and Joe Grant
smelling salts.
Yeah. And he puts them both in a container where he can pump gas into them.
Sleeping pod.
Yeah, sleeping pods. Then he lets the doctor out and says, Doctor, I have a button and I can kill Joe Grant anytime I want with poisonous gas. So you're going to take me back to the city. The doctor then takes the Master to the indigenous people's city. In the meantime, he dropped the key to the Master's TARDIS that he got in the cereal with the carnival on the ground.
Callback way back then. His hold down to this key this whole time.
Just a few cereals.
And the Master is taking precautions. He put up security measures in his TARDIS, like the tripwire and the sleeping gas, but apparently he couldn't change the lock to his TARDIS because his key still works.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So
all for the plot.
Right. In the meantime, the IMC guys are told to leave the planet by the colonists who at gunpoint. So the IMC guys are sent to so the colonists say, hey, this is the arbiter, we want to see you, disguising themselves as the adjudicator. So the IMC guys who are drunk come in,
walk into an ambush,
and the colonists are shooting at them, And the one Hanyak Norton is like, it's a trap!
Yeah.
And they shoot him, they shoot a bunch of them.
A lot of deaths, like 6 people died in the scene.
Yeah, 6 people on the scene. And then... So at that point, the master is like, well, I'm going to kill the doctor and Joe Grant in stray bullets, which he doesn't because I think he's the adjudicator. And he has to go do his adjudication stuff. That was before where we were.
Yeah.
So eventually, Joe Grant is rescued by Caldwell and Morgan. And because they're trying to figure out where the doctor and the adjudicator are, even though they now know the adjudicator's a fake. Because the ship, the colonists captured the IMC guys and sent them up in their ship to leave. They were going to declare themselves a republic.
In the ship, they sent for certifications of the adjudicator.
Right, and they found out it's not the master. He's
doesn't
fake.
match the picture on the ID.
Right. So the ship decides to come back down, and they ambush in the exact opposite scenario. They ambush the colonists, and they kill several of them, but they capture the rest, and they say, okay, the adjudicator made his decision for us. I'm not the governor. I'm sending you up on your ship. You have to go. And Ash and the rest of them are like, the ship was old when we bought it. It can't survive another trip. We will die. And Caldwell and Morgan and Dent are like, you're going anyway. And they all know that the ship will probably blow up. And it looks like the colonists and everybody get on the ship, and then the ship leaves and it explodes almost as soon as it left. In the meantime, Dent had video phoned to Ash, who was the only pilot left who could fly the ship. And he was like, look, we're just fixing life support systems.
Robert Ash.
Yeah, Robert Ash. And then it leaves, the ship explodes.
Kind of sounds like Rubber Dash, which is like a children's nursery rhyme.
What?
Boulder Dash.
Oh.
Robert Ash.
Yeah, you're stretching. Okay. Okay. Finish it off. How many of those do you have left?
This is number 6.
Oh, that's all she wrote. But I've got some along on the iced tea if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So
Let me finish up in the water and then I'll have an ice cup to...
we don't need some more ice from mine. Okay, so the ship explodes. The colonists perish. Joe Grant was supposed to be sent with them, but Caldwell helps her escape. And they head to the city of the natives, where Joe Grant had previously been, because she knows the doctor and the master there. They get into the city, because just so happens native is coming out, and they ambush him.
They didn't know how to open the door.
Yeah. In the meantime, the doctor and the master were captured, escaped thanks to the master's gas. They find the center of what the master's looking for, which is the greatest weapon in the universe. It's a weapon...
destruction.
Right.
You ever play the Halo games? Like the ring...
No.
The Halo rings? The Flood?
I've never played Halo.
Okay.
High altitude,
We need to fix
low, something.
No, that's a different Halo.
Well, that's what it stands for. High altitude, low... I forget what the O is.
The Halo games, they have these giant constructs. They're these ring world planets. And they're kind of like angel halos. So they call them Halo. But they're actually these giant weapons of like mass destruction to combat this like zombie plague infection called the Flood, which just absorbed life forms. And it basically wipes out all life in the galaxy, and then they start from scratch with like these little pods. They made little pods that contain all the different species, and they plant them on the different planets to start over life, because they had to eradicate the flood, which was taking over all life forms. So they made these giant halo rings, which was this planetary life destructing.
Like the Ark.
Yeah, like
the Doctor Who The Ark with the first Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great game series.
Right.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Kind of like that. This weapon of mass destruction, which basically burns out the remaining lifespan in a sun and causes it to implode. And
Well, that's what happens here, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's
the Master and the Doctor in the 6th episode, the middle of the 6th episode, get to the center of the city of the indigenous peoples, and
How many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. 2, 3. Crunch. Yeah, exactly. So they get to the center, and the Master's like, this is the greatest weapon in the entire universe. And I could destroy Earth's sun with one push of a button. And it would destroy everything in that solar system. You know, it's kind of like the Death Star kind of stuff. And he's like, do you know the star, was it the what nebula?
Speaking of which, did you know that Tootsie Pop made this wheel of artificial tongues that licked a lollipop, and they found out how many licks to the center of the
No.
Tootsie Pop?
How many licks?
I don't know, it was like 2,000 something. But it's this rotating wheel of artificial tongues, and this Tootsie Pop, they put on a little lever in it. It came by and I licked it. I counted how many licks.
Okay, the applications for that are just mind-boggling.
Well, it was a publicity thing, because that was their thing, how many licks. And they said, well, let's find out.
Okay. Because she used a real tongue.
Yeah.
Alright. So, the Master's like, you know the Crab Nebula? That was it, Crab Nebula? He's like, yeah, there's something exploded. He said, that was these people testing this weapon. He's like, Doctor, join me. We're both Time Lords. We're both renegades. We can control the universe together. The Doctor's like,
you can rule benevolently and end the war.
Yeah. The Doctor's like, no. Absolute power is evil.
Solid argument. You know, reign supreme. You can end. You know, you can rule benevolently.
Benevolently.
You know, you have this doomsday weapon. You have ultimate. Sway. You know, you can end war. And the Doctor said, yeah, absolute power is evil.
Correct, it is. So, the Doctor turns down the Master's offer. And then the little guy, the ultimate of
absolute power is evil, which kind of goes into the free will argument. Like,
correct. And the little guy shows up again, and he's like, Doctor, you know, this weapon is evil, because the Master makes his claim to try and change the universe. The Doctor says, don't listen to him. This weapon brought you any good? And the little head guy says no. In fact, once it was created, it destroyed the soil and the crops on this planet. It's been dying ever since. And that's why the colonists' crops wouldn't hold, you know? It's what kept killing them was the radiation from the weapon. And the Doctor's like, well, we should destroy it. And the little tiny head guy goes, well, there's a lever right there. Destroy it.
So
there's a self-destruct lever.
This single lever,
yep.
If you accidentally pull it, it destroys their entire underground civilization.
Yep.
This is one lever. So if you're walking by and you accidentally, oops.
So Doctor flips the lever back and forth. The Master tried to kill the little guy, and the guy made the weapon in his hand completely disappear.
Yeah. So he
So
has
good for him.
telekinetic powers of.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor flips a lever, and the whole civilization starts to disintegrate. The Doctor and the Master are running out. They bump
for it.
Yeah, they bump into Joe Grant and Caldwell.
Fortunately.
Yeah, and they all grab each other and they keep heading out.
Meanwhile, they're passing all these native indigenous
Who are
alien
heading
species.
in, yeah.
They're going in towards the
Like moths to a flame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drawn towards the extinction of their species and civilization, their whole.
Right? So 19 people and 3 entire species die. Genocide. Children's show.
Yes.
The Doctor, Joe Grant, the Master, and Caldwell manage to get out in time before everything explodes. And then they run into the rest of the IMC guys, and they're captured. And then the colonists show up and ambush the IMC
because
guys.
they never got on the ship in the first place.
They never did. The only person on the ship was Ash.
Robert
Ash was the only pilot. He knew he was going to die. He sacrificed himself to save the rest of the colonists, as a good leader does.
As a good Sean Bean does.
He
Robert
looked
Ash
a
looked
bit like
just
Sean
like
Bean.
an older Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Act like
So-
that too.
Well, integrity and leadership and
Just like Ned Stark
reasonableness.
in Game of Thrones. Played
Yeah,
by
yeah,
Sean Bean.
yeah, yeah.
Robert Stark.
Okay, so
He played the same character.
so the Winton and the other colonists show up, and they eventually kill most of the IMC guys. Then, and it looks like there's a couple scenes missing in this episode, but that's okay. So then they go back to the main colony biodome.
Maybe it's just a couple of scenes in our own mind.
No,
'Cause
there were a couple
alcohol.
scenes missing for time constraints. This is the only episode that wasn't perfectly paced out of the serial.
Jumps
So
around a bit.
they end up finding the TARDIS in a native cavern where they stored stuff they had stolen nearby. And the Doctor's like, "Thank you," and he's like, "Okay,
That's convenient.
yeah, you know, Deus Ex Machina." And he's like, "Okay, so you guys should do well because the machine's destroyed, so now you should be able to grow crops. You should have good fertile crops soon. And sorry Ash is dead, but you guys should be okay." Caldwell joins the colonists now that he is...
he's really burnt his career with the IMC.
Yeah, and then they're gone anyway, and he realizes he wants to be with them.
Yeah, moral reasons.
Yeah. So then the Doctor and
We've had a lot of character development with him when he sees the spaceship explode and he blames himself for it because he was the one who was in charge of inspecting the spaceship. And this whole time it's been this blackmail of him, the IMC leader, saying, you know, you can retire after this. Sure, some people will get killed, but just ignore it.
Tens of thousands of people die.
You don't want to be held in trial and put to death, and you can have a happy life. Just go along with it.
Blacklist.
Yeah, will destroy your career, but you can retire after this. This whole serial, he's just having this inner conflict of, do I help these people? I can help them when I can, but also, you know,
right.
self-preservation.
He ends up helping Winton and saving him. He ends up helping Joe Grant, saving her.
Yes.
And so in the end, Caldwell joins the colonists. Ash, unfortunately, is dead, but the rest of the IMC guys are gone and dead. And everybody lives happily ever after. Joe Grant, the Doctor, leave in the TARDIS, and they show up only seconds after they left, because, you know, time and space travel.
Back with
the Brigadier, yes. And that's the end of the serial.
That's the end of the series.
Alright, do you have any questions?
We talked about the difference in stylistic changes, like the TARDIS not fading out, it just kind of pops in and out, and the changing of the staff, and the artistic direction. We also had what I would consider was fantastic costume design. of these people who their outfits really give you the sense of, on the colonists, you really have a sense of, futuristic space pilgrims. It's like futuristic outfits, but at the same time really gritty and rustic,
Right.
leather jerkins that are like aged, but they're futuristic. And then you have the IMC, who have color schemes like black and red, and they just seem evil, bad guys, Nazis, corporate.
To be fair, the Doctor had the same color scheme.
He did, but there was white in there. He had the ruffles and
Right. Like we do. Black, white, and red.
They had their helmets, and they just seemed really evil. I just really like the set design. It felt, even though it predates Star Wars, it feels very Knights of the Old Republic kind of Star Wars.
Well, yeah, and the natives were very Jawa-esque.
Yeah, very sci-fi, alien, gritty, pilgrim, desert, space, colony, pilgrim-esque.
It was really good, and the sets were really good.
The quarries and rocks and
the
concrete with the
and
sawdust.
The spaceship and the biodome.
The
and
spaceships look nice. Yeah, I like the
TARDIS and the city, the underground city. Yeah. I mean, it was all really good.
It looked like obsidian walls. It wasn't just like normally how they do the alien spaceship or the alien colony where they get stranded on. It's like the painted screen, like green screen. You have the really flush panels, but this one is like so textured and you really got the sense of this underground colony because it just looked like obsidian formed walls that had been hewn into the earth.
The only green screen was when they were doing the video stuff inside the spaceship.
So it had a fantastic set for the native aliens.
It was good.
It looked great. We talked about the TARDIS and how it got tipped over. There's the defense mechanisms of the TARDIS. And
just like with Marco Polo, it can be captured, it can be put on something, it can be moved. And this happens in the future as well, when it gets picked up like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And the 11th Doctor's hanging out on the bottom of it. And it's being taken away by a helicopter.
Nice. Sounds cheesy.
It is, but it's fun. That's Doctor Who.
Sounds like
cheesy but fun.
Sounds like that Adam West Batman where he's hanging out of the helicopter and he has his shark repellent. Have you seen that?
Okay, to be fair,
Robin had
was
the
fun.
Shark repellent. It was fun. Can we talk about the differences in the Master and the Doctor's TARDIS? We have the TARDIS 4.0 or 45.
Okay, the Doctor's TARDIS is a Model 40. The Master's TARDIS is more advanced, so it's probably model 50 or 60.
Okay.
We may find out later. I don't remember. I literally don't remember.
But even though it's more advanced, he still never changed his locks, despite having the Doctor had a key.
Okay. When you move into a house, you change the lock on the door, right?
I don't think we ever did.
See what I'm saying? That's the problem. People are complacent.
Yeah. That being said, though, it seems like the Doctor's TARDIS is more advanced in its defense mechanisms, whereas the Doctor's TARDIS has this metabolism detector, where only Time Lords can open it. However, the Master's doesn't, because you have IMC taking the key and opening it, because apparently there's no metabolism detector.
That's a homebrew.
The Master's.
That's a homebrew that the Doctor did.
So the Doctor invented that himself.
Maybe, I don't know. Okay. But we'll roll with it.
We also have a great line from the Doctor who says he's every kind of scientist.
Correct.
He's some sort of scientist.
Are you a scientist? I'm every kind of
scientist. Speaks to the intellectual pursuits.
Yeah, be humble, yeah.
We also have the UK's use of the not popularized billions. So rather they say 100,000 million, which means a billion. They also say 10
billion, right?
10,000 million later, which 10 billion.
Okay, the word billion wasn't in common use until the 80s or 90s. So thousands of millions would be the way they would say that. That was worldwide. That wasn't just British.
Okay.
Okay, but because our national debt here in the U.S. popularized
It
the
sort
term
of
billions
forced
and
these
trillions
artificial
later on.
numbers into existence, where there's
Well, they're
not
not
really-
artificial. They're real numbers. but-
some numbers don't really have a physical equivalent to where they're more theoretical. Like,
No. Every number has a real equivalent.
well, if you can count the stars, but
Well, yeah, but I mean,
or the grains of sand. But
Well,
some are forced into existence merely through artificial means, like finance. When like a currency's value plummets and there's mass inflation, you don't really have a need for those numbers until it becomes.
no, scientifically, what's the word?
Common use anyway.
Well, no, but
Maybe
scientifically, there's
files
6
and
times 10 to the 23rd. I forget what it's called. 6 times 10 to the 23rd.
Pi?
No, it's not pi. Pi is 3.14159. Yada yada
I
yada.
don't know. That's
No, but a mole,
oh, Mole Day, Happy Mole Day.
what?
They had it's kind of like Groundhog's Day. They have a Mole Day for math. Mole.
Okay, but there's a number in science 6 times 10 to the 23rd. And I forget what it's called.
I don't know.
But that's a large number, much, much larger than a billion or a trillion. It is.
I believe you.
It's called a mole or something like that.
Yeah, I know the Mole. They use that in
I used to
chemistry, I
know
think.
that. Yeah, chemistry, exactly.
Nice.
I used to know that. Oh, I'm getting old. Alright, what's the next question?
Those are the kind of things you learn in school, but then you forget because you never use them in day-to-day life.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
I remember
I
something
think it
about
is
that.
a mole or something.
Yeah. Let's talk about the action scenes. The Doctor is more physically action, a lot of Venusian kung fu going on.
Yep.
At one point, we have who was it?
Witten got
Morgan?
on that.
Morgan was driving the Doctor in the Jeep. He was about to shoot some of the native aliens, and the Doctor pushes the gun, and he gets out of the Jeep, and he's Venusian kung fuing the native aliens. There's 3 of them. He takes a spear, and he's knocking out the aliens.
Right, and he's like, well, let's drive slower.
Yeah.
And that happens with the Master as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
But specifically, the Doctor is normally a personality who's very pacifistic and uses
Depends
words
on
over
the doctor.
action.
Depends on the doctor.
Yeah, this is the most physically action Doctor we've had so far because he uses physical violence as a means of incapacitation
Defense.
to the point
Defense.
to where it preserves life. To where he says if you're going to invade the IMC ship, rather than walking into a bloodbath, I'll help you do it the smart way, and we'll sneak on board, and we'll knock out these guards, and we'll save a lot of
Correct.
lives.
This is the doctor most willing to use defensive and offensive aggressiveness. You know,
Kung Fu- He's very much
Venusian
monk-like.
kung fu. Yeah, Venusian fu.
That's
But
cool.
it's awesome, and
It is very
some
cool.
doctors, like the 5th Doctor, are incredibly pacifistic. Other doctors are more willing to use physical force,
And
such as this one.
We've seen that before to a point, almost to a fault of pacifism, to where they put a lot of lives at stake to prevent maybe one death, rather than the current Doctor maybe taking things physically and putting some bruises on some brows
Right.
to ultimately save
Right.
some lives.
I mean, the 1st Doctor was willing to resort to violence occasionally.
yeah.
Yeah, the 2nd Doctor, Troughton,
Troughton doesn't.
was more pacifistic, but this
He
3rd
takes-
Doctor,
He takes some risks with
Right.
the hope of the greater good will prevail, and
right? The 3rd Doctor is much more willing to fight physically. Yeah, no, the Gentleman's Doctor, perfect.
it's pretty cool. I like those action scenes.
Mm.
It was to the point where I was getting annoyed at his very headstrong pacifism of anti-military. So now it's a whole different angle I see on the Doctor, where he does resort to a certain type of violence to preserve life. It makes him more relatable.
Correct. He's just not big on the military mindset, which
Guns
is also a
weapons.
factor later on with the 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctors.
Did we talk about the weird baby alien men?
Yeah. Weird baby alien.
We're weird. What's up with that?
It's kind of creepy.
It was creepy. So the Doctors, the Time Lord Council freed the Doctor from his exile to prevent this weapon of mass destruction, or maybe were they talking about a different weapon?
Right, to help disarm this weapon of mass destruction, which can destroy galaxies, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. I think that's all my questions.
Alright.
Did we talk about Duralinium a little bit?
Yeah, the
infrastructural
crap, yeah.
material.
Okay, so next week,
What's next time?
We will be doing the Daemons, which is
Daemons?
the Demons. It's Daemons, like the AE in Gaelic. The Demons.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 5-part serial.
Cool.
It is, like I said last time, it is the last odd number serial for 3 Doctors.
That's a fun fact.
We do not hit another odd numbered serial until 3 Doctors from then.
I wonder why that is.
Well, I guess they just like odd numbers, like even numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But this one,
I also like even numbers.
yeah, this one not only is
Kind
really
what do you call that?
volume
Obsessive
compulsive, yeah.
compulsive disorder. Not really, but
I'm the same way. I can't have a volume at an odd number. I have to have it at an even number.
See, I'm kind of weird. I can only put it on 5s, which are odd. So I'll have it on 5, 10, 15,
Well, 10's even.
20. Yeah, sometimes it's even, but most of the time it always has to be in a 0 or a 5. Like, if it's on 10, it's too low, I have to turn it to 15. Not 11, 12, 13, or 14. It's either 10, 15, 20, 25. I can only do it in increments of 5 for some reason. Otherwise it'll bother me. I'll set it to 24, I'm like, one more.
I'm the same way, but just with odd numbers. But anyway, so 59, the Demons, 5 episodes.
Demons.
It's the last serial of season 8,
Oh, okay.
his second season.
Going into the 3rd season of the 3rd Doctor.
Second season, the 3rd Doctor.
Oh,
Wrong.
the end of the 2nd season.
Of the 3rd Doctor, yeah.
Yeah, so going into the one after that one will be the 3rd season of the 3rd Doctor.
Correct, season 9. It's the last serial with an odd number for a long time of episodes, and this particular serial is highly regarded. In fact, it is highly regarded so much that there are 2 sequels to it from third parties.
Nice. Loose cannon stuff. Apocryphal.
Well, apocryphal stuff from third parties.
Yeah.
Cool. Not loose cannon, BVD or whatever the heck the other name of the other one was.
So a very popular cereal.
Yes, very
Well, I'm
popular.
excited. Any closing thoughts, Henry?
See you next week.
See you next week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yep.
What's our outro?
Thank you.
Sing our outro.
Thank you.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
For our